I'd like to teach you about a tool or a technique, really, for communicating more effectively. This will help you maximize your chance of feeling understood, which is usually what we want out of our interactions with people, especially the ones who are close to us. And so one way I like to describe this is kind of like a soft start. So first, we approach the person that we want to, share something with, especially if this is something vulnerable. And first we gauge, what they're doing, and whether or not they're able or willing to be receptive. And by receptive, I mean fully listening and holding space for you. So then we ask for consent. And that's a big one, because a lot of the time we just kind of, come in or bombard this person with what's going on for us. And then we expect them to respond in a certain way that meets our, whatever our expectation is. And if they don't, then we usually feel some kind of upset. And so it can be really useful to just prepare them, number one, by starting with something like, hey, there's something I'd really like to share with you. Are you able or willing to be receptive to that right now? And if the answer is no, to really respect that. If they're busy with work or, they're busy with play or leisure, whatever it is that they cannot be receptive for you, let that stand, respect and honor that decision and ask for a time when they are willing to be receptive, in 5, 10 minutes, 24 hours, whatever the case. So once you get your consent, and this is particularly in sharing something vulnerable, like if something really painful happened to you or, just kind of like big news. But it can also be with little things, just whatever you're feeling in the moment. One way that I like to approach this is by straight up asking for what you need. So by saying something like, hey, are you able to be receptive right now? If the answer is yes, then yeah, there's something I'd like to share with you. And I'd like to tell you how I want to be supported. And now we have a range of things that we can choose from. Usually, especially for women, most of the time we don't want advice. We don't want to be given a solution. That actually kind of goes across the board for all genders. Most of the time people can figure out how to solve their own problems. But what they're really needing is just someone to be with them in it, to empathize with them, to, help them feel less alone in what they are feeling in that moment. And that in itself is so transformative. And so what this can, and really what we want to do is we want to maximize the chance that this person can support us in the way that we really want them to. And the best way to do that is just by telling them what we want in that moment. And so that it can look something like this. I'd really love it if you didn't give me advice. I'd really love it if you just listened. I'd really love it if you empathized with me, if you validated what I was feeling, if you showed me that you understood by paraphrasing my emotion. Boom. That's it. And then the other person has the choice, whether they can meet you in that desire or not.